Imagine a humming sound in the middle of the night, then steps, and then whispers. Imagine you can't move. Something is pressing on your chest. And now, imagine it's real. It's no longer just your imagination. It's sleep paralysis, and you can't wake up. In this video, we're reading through 3 real-life stories of sleep paralysis sent to us, giving you a glimpse into the eerie world of this unsettling phenomenon. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe for more. I've always been a light sleeper. Like, any tiny noise can wake me up, which isn't exactly fun when you live where I did. My sister and I were stuck in this sketchy part of town. We rented a small studio apartment. The living room was basically the main space. Couch, coffee table, and a small TV. The kitchen was right next to it, separated by this little half wall. The bedroom, simple. Just a bed and a dresser, all in the same area as the living room. If you've ever seen that old cartoon, The Mask, Stanley Ipkiss's apartment was pretty close to what we had going on. Anyway, every night you'd hear shady stuff happening in the back alley, people screaming at each other like it was a sport, and there was always this constant noise that kept you on edge. That's why I started sleeping with headphones. Music became my little escape, drowning out the mess just outside my window. I'd had sleep paralysis before, but it was never super bad. Just that usual falling feeling, not being able to move, but then I'd wake up and it'd be over. But that night, that one night was different. It was like 1 a.m. when I felt it happening again. The whole falling thing, my body feeling like a rock, but this time I could hear my music perfectly. That's when I realized my body was asleep, but my brain was wide awake. I couldn't move, but I was 100% aware. I felt like I could see around me, but it was too dark anyway. Then I heard footsteps, heavy, slow, coming up the stairs outside my apartment. Every step echoed, and I could feel this pit of fear just growing inside me. It was too real. My heart was pounding, but I couldn't do a damn thing. The steps stopped right outside my door. Then came the knock. And I swear I could hear a whisper, "Can I come in?" I just thought to myself, you're shitting me. Like, what in the actual is happening right now? Then another knock. Not a normal knock. This was loud, angry, like someone was demanding to come in. My breath legit caught in my throat. This was someone trying to get in. The doorknob started rattling like they were trying to rip it off. I was frozen, mentally screaming at myself to move, but nothing worked. The knocking got crazier, like whoever was outside wasn't even human anymore. The door was shaking so hard, I thought it'd break any second. My heart was racing, and my music was still playing, which made the whole thing even more messed up, like some sort of sick soundtrack to the horror I was going through. I was just lying there, waiting for the door to smash open, for whoever or whatever was out there to get in. It felt like I was stuck there for hours. Then, all of a sudden, silence. Just like that, it stopped. I laid there, my body sore from trying to move. I remember looking at the door, hoping it wouldn't open. I couldn't do anything else. Just stare. Eventually, I passed out, and everything went black. When I woke up, the sun was shining, like nothing had happened. I was sweating like crazy. I ran to the door, half expecting it to be trashed, but nope. Not a single scratch. My sister saw me going around like a loon and asked me what was going on. I asked if she heard the knocks at the door last night, and she said she heard nothing. It must have been a dream, a bad one. Fast forward a few years, life got pretty normal. The last sleep paralysis episode was years ago, back at the old place. I moved to a new country, got married, and had a baby. We bought this cute old townhouse. The kind with charm, Like the perfect place for our little girl to grow up. After we moved into this new place, though, weird stuff started happening. Doors would slam shut. Pictures would fall off the walls. I joked with my husband that the ghost of the house was saying hello, but he brushed it off, saying it was just the draft or because the house was old. The usual. I was pretty sure it was nothing too, until one night we went to bed. I thought I was done with the whole sleep paralysis thing, but I was so wrong. That night, my husband was out cold next to me, and I was lying on my belly watching stuff on my phone. I drifted off like I always do, head in the pillow, phone on the side, but then it hit. That familiar, heavy feeling, like I was sinking into the bed, paralyzed. And that's when I heard them again. Footsteps. They were coming from the living room. Slow, heavy, just like back in that old apartment. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, that it was just another episode, but deep down, I knew better. I could hear the steps coming upstairs, no mistaking the creaks of the old stairway leading to the second floor. It was coming toward our bedroom. I tried so hard to move, to reach for my husband, but I couldn't. The door creaked open, and I felt it. This presence, like the room got darker and heavier all at once. I couldn't even breathe right. Whatever it was, it came right to my side of the bed. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. The air was thick, suffocating. I could sense its presence, hovering above our bed. I could hear my husband's slow breaths, normal, calm. Yet, I could hear or feel that thing too, malicious, cold, angry. Then, a hand, cold, heavy, pressing down on my back. It kept pushing me down harder and harder, like it wanted to crush me. My face was buried in the pillow, and I couldn't breathe. I was panicking, trying so hard to wake up, but my body wasn't responding. It kept pressing so hard, I could hear the bed creaking and the mattress sinking in under the weight. All I could think was, is this it? Is this how it ends? What about my baby? Will she be okay? Will I miss all her firsts, first steps, first words, first day at school? The panic was overwhelming as I felt the hand press harder. It got so bad I was struggling to take a breath, and then I snapped out of it. I shot up in bed, gasping for air, shaking. The room was back to normal. My husband was still asleep, right next to me. I glanced around the dark room. It was empty, the door still closed. All I could hear was the pounding of my heart in my ears. Just another episode, I told myself. That was the last time it happened. But now, every so often, in the middle of the night, I wake up to check on the baby or head to the bathroom. Walking through the dark hallway, the dark rooms, I get this strange sense of something hiding, watching, waiting. I know it's just my imagination playing tricks on me, but what if it's not? What if it's not done? What if next time I don't wake up? I've been dealing with sleep paralysis for a few years now, so I'm kind of used to the whole thing by this point. You know, the usual stuff where you can't move, feel like something's in the room with you, and sometimes even see or hear weird things. But last night was different. And honestly, it was kind of funny in a messed up way, so I thought I'd share it here. So I was lying there, doing my usual thing, when bam, sleep paralysis hit. I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, but it wasn't my first rodeo. Normally, I'd just wait it out, try to focus on breathing, and hope I didn't see something creepy. But this time, instead of the usual shadowy figure lurking in the corner, or the weight on my chest, I heard this noise. And it was like a baby toy? You know, the ones that make those super annoying sounds, like jingles or little tunes that play over and over. Yeah, one of those. Anyway, my room was no kid's playground. There were no baby toys lying around. I didn't even live with kids, so where the heck was this sound coming from? At first, I was just confused, but then I realized it was coming from the thing. You know, the thing that shows up during sleep paralysis. I don't know what to call it. Maybe a demon or a ghost or whatever, but it's always lurking. Anyway, it was playing with this baby toy, like shaking it or something, and then I heard it say, "Come play with me." And I'm like, hell no! I mean, I couldn't actually say that because, you know, paralysis and all, but that's what I was thinking. At this point, I was just lying there, stuck, and in my head, I was begging to go back to sleep. Like, I didn't care if there was some creepy thing in my room playing with a toy. I just wanted to be left alone so I could sleep. But the thing kept going, messing with the toy and saying, "Come play with me." I was still just mentally saying, nah, I'm good, and trying to ignore it. But then it got mad, like legit mad. And it called me a bitch because I wouldn't get up and play with it. I swear I could feel the anger coming off it. Like the room just felt tense. It's hard to describe, but it's like you can just feel when something's pissed off, you know? And I was still lying there, helpless, just wanting to go back to sleep. And now I had this angry ghost or whatever, calling me names. Eventually, I guess I did fall back asleep, and when I woke up, the weirdest part was that I actually felt bad. Like, I kind of felt guilty for ignoring it and not playing along. Which is ridiculous, right? It's not like I asked for this thing to show up in the first place. But I was just lying there thinking, damn, I made my sleep paralysis demon mad? I don't know why, but it's kind of hilarious looking back on it. It wasn't funny when it was actually happening, though. Anyway, has anyone else here ever pissed off their sleep paralysis creature? Like, do they usually have feelings? 'Cause mine sure seem to. And now I'm wondering if this is a thing that happens to other people too. I've read countless stories about other people's experiences with sleep paralysis demons. Many describe seeing shadow figures, some wearing top hats, others crawling on all fours. But for me, I've encountered two distinct entities, both terrifying in their own ways. The first one, the one with the top hat, is tall. I'd estimate about 6'2", though it's hard to be precise when you're lying down, paralyzed with fear. His presence is unsettling, his long black hair blending into the shadowy void that makes up his entire body and face, except for his eyes. Those eyes, they seem to pierce right through me. He never comes too close. He watches from the end of my bed or from the corner of the room as if waiting for something. There was one time, though, when he did something other than just watch. I was lying on my side, unable to move, and could only see him from my peripheral vision. Suddenly, he bent down sideways, deliberately moving into my field of vision, staring directly into my eyes. My heart pounded in my chest as I forced my eyes shut, screaming in my head, desperately trying to wake myself up. It felt like an eternity before I finally broke free from the paralysis. But the second demon, that one has done far more than just watch. The first time I saw it, it crawled past my bed and stood behind me. I could hear its heavy breathing, feel the vibrations of its low, guttural growls. At first, it only did this, lingering at the edge of my dreams, as if testing the boundaries of my fear. But over time, it progressed. One night, it started crawling onto the bed behind me. I sleep on my side, so I couldn't move, couldn't see it, but I could feel it. Its breath was hot and putrid against the back of my neck, the growls resonating deep in my bones. Then it began to talk. It would repeat things I was thinking, mimicking my own desperate thoughts in a low, throaty voice. Help me, please, stop. It was like hearing my own fear being thrown back at me, distorted and twisted. And then it progressed again. It started to answer me. If I thought this is just a dream, it would reply, no. If I silently begged, babe, please wake me up, it would hiss back, can't hear. Each time it spoke, its voice was darker, more menacing, like it was relishing the control it had over me. The last time I encountered it was the worst. I had accidentally fallen asleep on my back, a position that left me completely vulnerable. It took full advantage. I remember the cold sensation of it crawling on top of me, the weight of its shadowy form pressing down on my chest. Its hands, or whatever it had, clamped down on my shoulders, holding me in place as it growled, the sound reverberating through my entire body. Its eyes and mouth glowed a sinister red, cutting through the darkness like embers in a dying fire. It laughed, a low, mocking sound, as I struggled to breathe. I could feel the tears streaming down my face, and every time one would fall, it would pause, cocking its head to the side, almost as if fascinated by my suffering. The smile would vanish, replaced by a cold stare, and then the growling would start again, the pressure on my chest intensifying. I woke up drenched in sweat and tears, my chest aching as if I had just spent hours crying. My pillow was soaked, my breath ragged, and for a few moments I wasn't even sure if I was really awake. It felt too real, too emotional, and that was 4 months ago, and thankfully I haven't had a sleep paralysis dream since. But the memory of it is still fresh. I'm starting to wonder if these entities aren't just figments of our imagination, but something far more sinister. And if that's the case, what do they really want? How far will they go? We hope these stories gave you a chilling glimpse into the world of sleep paralysis. Have you ever experienced something similar? We'd love to hear your own stories and share them with our community. Drop your experiences in the comments below or send them to us directly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Your support helps us bring more of these spine-tingling tales to life.